In news from the criminal courts, we learned that one man is facing assault charges for allegedly throwing a bottle at his girlfriend. Another is slapped with similar charges after allegedly forcing his way into his ex-girlfriend's home and threatening to assault her. And a third man appeared in court to face charges after his mother reported that he had damaged her vehicle. On December 6th, the woman drove to the police station to report that Jeff Davis had thrown a bottle which struck her in the head. She said that she was at home when Davis, who she had been in a relationship with, called her to ask for a ride home. Although she was not going to give him a lift, she said she still went to meet him. When she arrived, she says she told him that she no longer wanted to be in a relationship and they began to argue. At one point, she says Davis used a bottle of Guinness as a projectile, and that's when she drove to the police station to report the incident. The woman told officers that Davis had assaulted her during the past 2 years they had been in a relationship, but this was the first time she was reporting an incident. Although she sustained a contusion above her right eyebrow, the woman declined medical attention. The matter was forwarded to the Domestic Violence Unit, and the woman was advised to get a restraining order taken out against Davis. Meanwhile, Davis was arrested and now faces charges of simple assault and battery and third-degree assault, both as acts of domestic violence. He was also charged with disturbance of the peace. Davis was allowed to post $1,000 in cash on Friday, with the remainder of his $15,000 bail amount to be posted as an unsecured bond to secure his release into the care of a third-party custodian. The St. Thomas resident is barred from traveling to St. John while the matter is pending and can have no contact whatsoever with the complainant or any witnesses. He is also ordered to stay at least 50 feet away from the woman at all times. Another man was arrested on December 6th. Hector Olivieri now faces assault charges and must undergo a psych eval after his ex-girlfriend says he forced his way inside her home. The woman called police on December 4th to help her remove her ex-boyfriend from her house. She told them that Olivieri had barged inside and threatened to assault her while holding a pocket knife. Responding officers were escorted to the woman's bedroom, where they found Olivieri fast asleep. One of the officers tapped him on the arm, and when Olivieri awoke and found himself face to face with the police, he scrambled outside. The woman said she'd let him in and tried to calm him down by sending him to take a shower. She told them that she was fearful for her safety and wanted police to escort her to her mother's house. When they reached outside, Olivieri approached them, holding two objects in his hands and threatening to, quote, mash up the woman, but kept his distance when officers stepped forward. Olivieri was advised to refrain from harassing and stalking the woman and was told that if he returned to her house, he would be arrested. Despite the police intervention, he began cursing before running out of the parking lot and around the building. Police followed and saw him throwing objects at the woman's car. They repeated their caution, and that's when Olivieri told the police that they would have to shoot him to get him to stop. Police got out of the vehicle, but Olivieri dashed into the bushes. They met the woman at Calabash Market, and once again she told them that she was afraid for her life. Officers escorted her to her mother's house and then, on December 6th, arrested Olivieri at his workplace. He was charged with third-degree assault and disturbance of the peace as acts of domestic violence. He was also charged with interfering with an officer while discharging his duties. Olivieri was transported to the Jurgen command, where he resisted attempts to search his person until police were able to subdue him and retrieve the pocket knife in his possession. In court on Friday, a judge ruled that Olivieri must post his $5,000 bail in full to secure his release. The usual bail conditions apply, and the court also ordered that a psychological evaluation be conducted. Another man appeared in court on Friday after his mother called police to say that he had damaged her vehicle. Kwanzaa George reportedly turned up at his mother's house asking to speak with her on December 8th. The woman told police that she asked him to go home to his father's house and that they could have a conversation another time. That apparently angered George, who began yelling to his mother that if she did not come downstairs right away, she would see what he was going to do. George then reportedly hit the bonnet of his mother's vehicle with a closed fist, leaving a large dent in the thin metal. He then walked around to the right rear of the vehicle and struck it several times with a concrete block. He left the area when his mother said she was going to call the police. Responding officers spoke to two neighbors who confirmed that George and his mother had a verbal altercation And although they did not see George damage the vehicle, they did hear him hurling threats at his mother, followed by a loud noise. For her part, the woman told police that she wanted to press charges against her son for the damage he had caused. While his mother was giving officers her statement, George returned. He told police that he had come to his mother's house because he just wanted to use the bathroom. When she told him to go away, he obliged, he says, going to Havenside near the dock. George denied his mother's accusations and said that he had actually filed a report against her this past August for similar false accusations. Despite his protestations and despite the lack of surveillance footage of the area where the vehicle was damaged, George was arrested and charged with damage to a vehicle, destruction of property as an act of domestic violence, and disturbance of the peace. In court on Friday, a judge ruled that George be allowed to post $1,000 in cash to secure his release. He must abide by the usual bail conditions and return to court on December 21st.